The camera pans across a dimly lit boxing gym, the rhythmic thud of gloves against heavy bags echoing in the background. Sweat drips onto the floor as two figures move with purpose, their shadows dancing on the walls. One is Terence Crawford, the undefeated welterweight king, his movements sharp and calculated. The other is VERGIL ORTIZ Jr., a rising star whose explosive power has left opponents crumpled in his wake. The stage is set for a collision that could redefine boxing's landscape. This is the story of a legacy tested and a challenger hungry to claim his place in history. Terence Crawford's journey began in Omaha, Nebraska, where he honed his craft in the rough gyms of the city. Born in 1987, he grew up in a tough neighborhood, learning to fight long before he laced up gloves. By the time he was a teenager, his talent was undeniable. He turned pro in 2008, and over the next decade he carved out a reputation as one of the most complete boxers in the world. With a record of 40 wins, no losses, and 31 knockouts, Crawford has dominated every division he's entered, from lightweight to welterweight. His ability to switch stances mid-fight, his uncanny ring IQ, and his relentless pursuit of perfection have made him a nightmare for opponents. He's not just a fighter, he's a strategist, a master of angles and timing, always 3 steps ahead. Crawford's rise wasn't without challenges. Early in his career, he faced skepticism from those who doubted a kid from Omaha could compete with the sport's elite. But he silenced them one by one, capturing titles and dismantling champions with surgical precision. In 2017, he unified the super lightweight division, becoming the undisputed champion by defeating Julius Indongo in a masterclass performance. When he moved up to welterweight, he continued his reign, taking the WBO title and defending it against top contenders like Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. His fights are less about flash and more about dominance, each victory a statement of his superiority. The boxing world has crowned Crawford a pound-for-pound great, but greatness invites challengers. Enter VERGIL ORTIZ Jr., a 26-year-old phenom from Grand Prairie, Texas, who represents the new blood of the sport. With a perfect record of 20 wins, all by knockout, Ortiz has electrified fans with his devastating power and unrelenting aggression. Born in 1998, he grew up idolizing fighters like Oscar de la Hoya, but his style is distinctly his own, a blend of precision and brutality that leaves little room for error. His punches don't just hurt, they end fights, often in spectacular fashion. Ortiz's ascent has been meteoric. He turned pro in 2016 and quickly became a prospect to watch, racking up knockouts with alarming consistency. By 2021, he was a contender in the welterweight division, his name whispered as a potential threat to the division's top dogs. His fights are must-see events, not just for the knockouts but for the intensity he brings to the ring. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to dominate, to leave no doubt about his place in the sport. His promoters call him a future champion, and his fans see him as the heir to boxing's throne. The contrast between Crawford and Ortiz is stark. Crawford is the seasoned veteran, a man who's seen every trick in the book and countered it with ease. His fights are chess matches, each move calculated to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. Ortiz, on the other hand, is a wrecking ball, his power a force of nature that overwhelms even the most prepared fighters. Where Crawford dissects, Ortiz destroys. Where Crawford outthinks, Ortiz overpowers. This clash of styles promises not just a fight but a spectacle, a battle that could hinge on a single moment of brilliance or a single mistake. Crawford's training camp is a study in discipline. He wakes before dawn, running miles through the quiet streets of Omaha, his breath visible in the cool morning air. In the gym, he spars with fighters who mimic Ortiz's style, testing his ability to handle pressure and power. His coach, Brian McIntyre, drills him on footwork and defense, knowing that Ortiz's punches could change the fight in an instant. Crawford's focus is unshakable, his eyes fixed on the challenge ahead. He respects Ortiz but believes no one can match his combination of skill and experience. To him, this is just another fight, another chance to prove he's the best. Ortiz, meanwhile trains with the hunger of a man who has everything to prove. His camp in Texas is intense, the gym filled with the sounds of grunts and gloves. He spends hours on the mitts, perfecting combinations that could crack Crawford's defense. His trainer, Robert Garcia, pushes him to the limit, emphasizing speed and accuracy to complement his natural power. Ortiz knows Crawford's reputation, but he's undaunted. He sees this fight as his moment, the chance to shock the world and cement his name among the greats. Every punch he throws in training carries the weight of his ambition. The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation. Fans debate endlessly on social media, some backing Crawford's experience, others betting on Ortiz's youth and power. Analysts break down the matchup on talk shows, dissecting everything from Crawford's jab to Ortiz's uppercut. The consensus is split. Crawford is the safer bet, but Ortiz's knockout streak makes him a dangerous wild card. The fight feels like a passing of the torch, a moment where the old guard faces the new and no one can predict the outcome with certainty. Crawford's legacy is on the line. An undefeated record is a rare thing in boxing, a badge of invincibility that few carry for long. A loss to Ortiz would tarnish his resume, raising questions about his place among the all-time greats. But Crawford thrives under pressure. He's faced doubters his entire career and turned them into believers. He sees Ortiz as a test, not a threat, a chance to remind the world why he's called Bud. His confidence is quiet but unshakable, rooted in years of preparation and sacrifice. Ortiz, for his part, carries the hopes of a new generation. A win over Crawford would catapult him to stardom, establishing him as the welterweight division's new king. But more than that, it would be a statement, a declaration that the future is now. Ortiz knows the odds are against him, that many see him as the underdog. But he embraces the role, drawing inspiration from boxing's history of upsets. From Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson to Andy Ruiz toppling Anthony Joshua, the sport is full of moments where the impossible became reality. Ortiz believes he can add his name to that list. The press conference is electric, the room packed with reporters and fans. Crawford sits calmly, his answers measured and confident. Ortiz, younger and more animated, speaks with passion, promising to bring the fight to Crawford like never before. The stare-down is intense, their eyes locked in a silent battle before the first bell. The tension is palpable, the air thick with the promise of violence. Both men know what's at stake, and neither is willing to back down. As fight night approaches, the hype reaches a fever pitch. The arena is sold out. The crowd, a mix of diehard fans and casual viewers drawn by the drama. Crawford's supporters wave signs proclaiming him the king, while Ortiz's fans chant his name, their voices rising in a crescendo. The undercard fights pass in a blur, each one building anticipation for the main event. By the time Crawford and Ortiz make their walks to the ring, the atmosphere is electric, every eye fixed on the squared circle. Crawford enters first, his face a mask of focus. He's been here before. The bright lights and roaring crowd, just another day at the office. His robe is simple, his demeanor calm, but there's a fire in his eyes that betrays his intensity. Ortiz follows, his energy infectious, feeding off the crowd's enthusiasm. His team pumps him up, their voices loud in his ear as he bounces on his toes. The ring announcer's voice booms through the arena, introducing the fighters to a deafening roar. The bell rings and the fight begins. Crawford circles, his jab snapping out to measure distance. Ortiz presses forward, his hands high, looking for an opening to unleash his power. The early rounds are a chess match, Crawford's footwork keeping him just out of reach, Ortiz's aggression forcing him to stay sharp. The crowd is on edge, sensing that the fight could turn at any moment. Crawford lands a crisp combination, but Ortiz answers with a heavy hook that draws gasps from the audience. As the rounds progress, the intensity builds. Crawford's experience begins to show, his counters landing with pinpoint accuracy, but Ortiz's power is undeniable, his punches carrying a weight that tests Crawford's chin. The middle rounds are brutal, both men trading shots in a display of heart and skill. The commentators are in awe, calling it a fight for the ages. The crowd roars with every exchange. the arena shaking with their energy. In the championship rounds, both fighters dig deep. Crawford's legs are still fresh, his mind sharp, but Ortiz's relentless pressure is taking its toll. A cut opens. Above Crawford's eye, a rare sign of vulnerability. Ortiz smells blood pouring on the pressure, but Crawford's defense holds firm. The final bell rings and the arena erupts. Both men raise their hands, believing they've done enough to win. The judges' scorecards are read, and the world holds its breath. The outcome is uncertain, a testament to the closeness of the fight. Whether Crawford's mastery prevails or Ortiz's power proves too much, one thing is clear. This fight will be remembered. It's a clash of titans, a moment where two warriors left everything in the ring. For Crawford, it's a chance to solidify his legacy. For Ortiz, it's a shot at immortality. And for boxing fans, it's a reminder of why they love the sport. The drama, the heart, and the unrelenting pursuit of greatness. The camera fades to black, the echoes of the crowd lingering. Text appears on the screen. Terence Crawford vs. Vergil Ortiz Jr., a fight for the ages. The story doesn't end here. In boxing, it never does. There's always another fight, another challenger, another chance to prove who's the best. But for now, the world will talk about this night, when two men stood toe-to-toe and gave everything for glory.